So the question is, are Democrats playing partisan politics instead of serving their constituents? Let's ask Tiana Lowe, commentary writer for The Washington Examiner, and Democratic strategist Kevin Chavous. Thank you both for being here. We certainly appreciate it. Kevin, I'll start with you. I mean, is there partisan politics at play here?
I would say yes, but on all sides. I believe President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are also playing partisan politics. To me, it seems as though the relationship between the U.S. and Israel, especially under Donald Trump now, has really just become about their own personal agendas. I mean, our relationship with Israel used to be bipartisan. I mean, that used to be one thing that both sides of the aisle could agree on. This providing aid to Israel and providing support. They are our strongest ally in the region. But when they block lawmakers from entering the country who are American, regardless of whether they're Democrat or Republican, I agree with Representative Omar that that's just not how allies treat each other.
Yeah, but you have to, though, take into consideration the comments that they've made in the past. Correct?
That's true. That's true. And they haven't made friendly comments about Israel, but in America, we have the right to free speech, and people are able to voice their opinions about things. And I just believe that as much help as we give Israel, she said almost 4 million, but it's almost 4 billion. I just think we deserve better. And I do believe that Israel being so, I mean, look, Donald Trump is very popular in Israel. He's actually on one of their coins. And I think Netanyahu knows that, and he knows he's got an election coming up, and he's hitching himself to Donald Trump. But, you know, it takes a bipartisan agreement in order to get these aid packages passed. And I just think they're threatening what used to be a good run for Israel. I mean, both sides of the aisle always support Israel usually, and I just think they're threatening that.
Well, let's go ahead to Tiana right now and bring you in and your opinion on this.
I mean, what's changed in the last 2 years? I don't see Steny Hoyer invoking anti-Semitic tropes. I don't see Nancy Pelosi invoking anti-Semitic tropes. I don't see any member of Democratic leadership changing their tune on our historical allyship with Israel. The only difference is the introduction of the Squad and the introduction of some of the most virulent anti-Semitism we've had in Congress in years. And especially if you look at the fact that, you know, yesterday Ilhan Omar lied through her teeth to her constituents about the nature of her trip. She said that she had planned to meet with members of the Knesset. According to her only publicly available schedule, this isn't true. And then when she was attacking journalists, myself included yesterday, for calling her out on Twitter and retweeting post-signal boosting harassment against members of the media, including an editor at The Forward, her staff was unable to provide another itinerary and said they were just relying on other people's tweets saying that, oh, allegedly there were some meetings that were talked about with the Knesset after the fact.
Well, let's go ahead and take a listen to a little clip here of what Ilhan Omar had to say yesterday. And this is on aid, U.S. aid to Israel.
We give Israel more than $3 million in aid every year. But denying visit to duly elected members of Congress is not consistent with being an ally.
I mean, you can hear right there, she's not exactly saying, but she is hinting at cutting funding. And before I get your opinions on this, let's take a look at this statement from Hogan Gidley, the White House backing Israel, saying, quote, Israel has the right to prevent people who want to destroy it from entering the country, and Democrats' pointless congressional inquiries here in America cannot change the laws Israel has passed to protect itself. We've had a good relationship with them, as you guys know. You know, foreign aid funding obligations to Israel. You can see, we'll pull this up here on the screen. It's pretty much been consistent over the last couple of years anyway. That's just the last 3 years, as you can see. Kevin, your final thoughts here on whether or not you think that funding should be cut. Should this be something that is looked into, as Omar is suggesting?
Well, I personally think that Israel gets, I mean, I think $4 billion is certainly a large amount. But it's been that way, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Even with this, I just don't think this will move the needle that far to the, I guess, to the left, we should say, in terms of cutting aid. But I do think it's important to recognize that Representative Omar and Tlaib, the Squad, as they're called, or part of the Squad, they sort of represent sort of new views and views of sort of the younger Americans who are looking at these foreign aid packages more critically. I mean, why does Israel have to get so much in aid? Yes, they are our strongest ally in the region, and it is important for us to have an ally in order for strategic purposes and our interests in the region. But these are things that voters are starting to look at more closely, whereas before we didn't really ask. It was Israel, they're our ally, so we're going to support them as much as we need to. And I think people are going to look closely at it now.
We're running out of time, but I do want to give Tiana the final word here.
Yeah, I'm sure the same young millennials who want $32 trillion Medicare for all packages are worried about a few billion in foreign aid spending for our only Democratic ally in the region. I mean, I think Ilhan Omar made it abundantly clear. She said if they were an ally, she doesn't view them as an ally. Rashida Tlaib has been open about the fact that she supports the eradication of an independent Jewish state in the region. I mean, they've given the lie to whatever they believe in, and I don't think that this is the future of the Democratic Party, and I certainly hope that for the sake of America and for the sake of liberalism worldwide that it is not.
All right, Tiana, Kevin, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.